right? In your wildest dreams, you didn't think of being there, and then somebody puts you there. Of course, you would be biased toward the person. That's not anything. It's just that what are you doing with the bias you're feeling? Unfortunately, this is where we are. So quite a few people, and that's it has now even increased the voter apathy. We've been struggling with voter apathy in Nigeria for a while, but now that it is the sitting president who appointed the sitting chairman, they're like, I don't think I don't think I want to be voting for the next year election, because if last elections, I didn't have confidence. Like, this is what happened. Well, who's to say that it's not going to get worse by 2027? I don't. It is well with Nigeria. I've told
Uh,
I want to try to be protecting my heart when it comes to Nigeria, because Nigeria's issues, they stop, and it just makes you.
the entire democratic process in Nigeria this time is flawed in so many directions.
Yeah.
You're just talking about the chairman of INEC. I think that if we even consider that, apart from the fact that he who pays the piper dictates the tune, is
Yeah.
the fact that, is it allegedly or it's even been, proven that
Mm-hmm.
the man is a card carrying member of the APC, is an APC.
It's still allegedly you at this point.
I say allegedly. Okay. Now, in other crimes, if that were to happen,
Yeah.
there would be an immediate investigation to determine if the allegation is true.
Very
And the
true.
moment that allegation is found to be true, of course, he will even resign by himself, because once that is determined, it's an automatic get out of here. But
Yeah.
in Nigeria, it really doesn't matter. They shove everything in our faces, and it's like, the mantra is take it or leave it.
Yeah.
So, and apart from the person of the chairman, is also the different, provisions in the
So
electoral act, that was pointed at. Was it Igini, a former, electoral officer for, I think, Cross River, is a very popular one, who came out to, bring out some serious um, clauses or sections of that act and pointed out the implications to us. These are things that maybe they smuggled their way into it. Maybe people really didn't pay attention. But there are things, that the man identified as being opportunities, for messing up the elections. Nobody has done anything about it. So, ab initio, we have not gone to the polls, but the elections are already fraught with irregularities. So, I mean, when people now show voter apathy, you really don't blame them. If people don't have confidence in this and believe that, look, this is already decided anyway, with or without my vote, what's the point going
yeah,
out?
exactly. That's I mean, yeah. That's really it. Okay. What's the next one? Yes, so we that was Guardian, yes. In the This Day newspaper, we have Northern senators back the president's military expansion after Benue Kaduna killings. I don't know why we have to wait until there are gruesome killings, and nobody's even talking about the killings that happened in Plateau State. But let's just be taking it one step at a time. I don't know why we wait till something has spoiled finish before we get into it. Same thing with, you know, our roads. Maybe I'm just so upset about the state of
I
Nigerian
was
roads.
waiting for you to say,
We
Oh,
wait until
well, the killings have become a norm in Nigeria. The
yeah,
insecurity has become a norm. It's something that we have accepted, whether we like it or not, as part of our daily life. And so, I keep saying that the average Nigerian, more so the government, has become morbid. When you say someone is something is morbid, that you are past feeling, you no longer feel.
yeah,
Okay, and so then in a country where you have people being killed by hundreds, on a daily basis, sometimes you've had experiences like that. and people are being kidnapped, I mean, and they took it, to another level by kidnapping babies, and what do we do? So it's something that has become a daily part of Nigeria, sadly so. And one is only hoping that, these evil days will pass and we can even at least see some form of light in this pitch darkness.
It is well. Yeah. I think we have Okonjo Iweala. Economic reforms must translate to jobs and tangible benefits, and that has been my issue because whenever we have analysis Mondays through Fridays, I keep saying these reforms and is reforming, oh, is reforming. What has it translated to? Are there more jobs for people? We have how many unemployed young people in Nigeria? What are the tangible benefits that we can see or that we are benefiting from? Light is still an issue. Roads, good roads are still big of an issue. And the reason why I'm talking about roads because on was it Monday or Tuesday that I was having my big crash out, um I was going home to 5 or was it past 4, and the route on a major road,
It was
they were
till 5, some
yeah,
minutes past 5.
men at work. What do you mean men at work at peak hour? When the roads, I remember when all the roads, the routes that I apply either to work, to church, if I'm going out, my normal route, I remember when those roads were done. I remember when the first pothole came. I remember when the second one came. I remember when the rain started and I was like, this thing is going to get worse. Now that the roads have gotten worse, you are now wanting to do road on that same day. Like make it make on Saturday last week, I was coming from Allen. Now, if you're familiar with Allen into Awolowo Road, as if you're going that road shot that leads to LT. If you turn left, it's LTV. If you go straight, you're going toward Alausa. They were doing that road in the middle of the afternoon on a Saturday. People are going for parties, right? Right there and cause an unnecessary wait for people. Like Shaman Ronusha. I don't
No,
think
Amarono, for me. Look, one thing you need to know is that in Nigeria, a number of times, these things have other motives. Now,
mm,
years and years back, I observed, and I've been saying it. Why is it that in Nigeria, well, maybe let me not talk about Nigeria as a nation. Let me talk about Lagos, where I've resided for all of my years. Why is it that we do the road during the rainy season? That's one thing. I mean, it's common. I see it happen all the time, year in and year out. They will abandon. They will not do anything. Sometimes they would have mobilized, and you are waiting for them to start. Nothing goes on. Then the moment the rain starts, that's when they begin to make the road. Question: Why? Okay. Number two is this: Lagos, by virtue of its topography, you know, is said to be below sea level. So you build, when you are building roads, you have to even buildings to live in, to work in, and all of that. One of the first thing you do is what they call a soil test. That would the component of the soil will help you determine what kind of stuff materials that you use
yeah,
to build. And
yeah,
so they build this road. First and foremost, even the one they are doing, they're not doing according to specification. So if the bitumen is supposed to be, let's say, 5 inches thick, maybe they will give you 1.5. You understand? So it's not done well. So at the very first sign of rain, everything just begins to scatter and move away. Now compare the roads the government does with the road Dangote did, the Apapa Osho, the expressway, all the way to Bagada. Do you understand?
yeah.
Compare the quality of the road. You see that road is pure iron rod and concrete and
Mm,
cement, oh waste and cement. So you see that it was a quality job. It would take a while, for it to go bad. And then
yeah.
also We don't have maintenance culture in Nigeria. We have
Yeah.
always
Yeah.
said it.
Yeah.
Who checks? Who maintains the road? Do you know that it was in the US that I found out that the road has expiry dates?
Yes. They do.
I didn't know that before. Do you get what I'm saying? So when you go to a place like that, I mean, another thing that struck me that I noticed and I asked questions and then got the answers in the US. The US will build an 8-lane road, hmm? And they will shut two down.
Mm.
They are only using six, yeah, which is fine. Now, the remaining two, you would have one that, is for emergency, some emergency lane, and then you would also have it, another lane for, uh, uh, maybe some erratic traffic. You get what I'm talking about? And or as traffic begins to increase in that particular area, when they look at it and they take the data, you get on a daily basis, they know the number of cars that go, through the road at different times and all of that. When that traffic has become heavy over a couple of days or weeks or whatever, they open up another one. And then,
Mm.
and so they build ahead. In Nigeria, you are not even building for now. How much more building for the future? So you ask yourself, why and why do we do this? And you and I know that the greatest problem that this country has is corruption. So someone somewhere, out of the money allocated, which is already inflated, somebody is still going to take their own and all. At the end of the day, what is left is not enough to do anything good, and that's why we have that happening all the time. Take away the government from it. Look at Nigerians themselves, because we are also badly behaved and indisciplined. There are people who go on the road and dig illegally. I don't know what the heck they're looking for, and all kinds of. So it's just a jungle. It's a chaotic environment.
Mm.
Mm.
Well, okay, let's quickly rush through because we are, in fact, okay. Um, yeah, daily customer. Go ahead,
We,
you.
we approved Phantom Council without due diligence, says head of service. We're still going to come back to that with our analyst
Yeah.
because this thing is boggling my mind. But oh well. Katsina, Sharia court judge makes window escape as bandits hit courtroom.
It is getting there. It is getting there.
The pressure is getting wet.
The way Sumba laughed is the way I laughed this morning. I'm never going to lie.
I'm
My
trying not to laugh.
I was like, oh, you can run. I did not know because people were acting like they touch you now. You know, go touch you now, but
Nigeria the ridiculous. Hmm.
there
Wait,
was
wait, waiting soon, but I no go see for gate.
they say my short of ìyálé ìyàwó I mean ìyálé lọmọ
Eh,
bí mi ìyàwó.
eh.
I'm so proud of you, Fumi.
Yeah, I know my energy is not really, really great today because I'm battling a cold and allergies, but you think that I cannot speak Yoruba, Nima, please go. Okay.
They play.
That newspaper we have federal government arraigned two Antaru commanders, three others over fresh charges of terrorism. We also have judicial reform, body of benchers crackdown on charge and bail lawyers. Moving on to the premium
Hmm.
tab.
Local
Hmm.
government workers in Cross.
But we have gone past this.
From the Premium Times, local government workers in Cross River protest 11 months unpaid salaries. Mm. Group
Anybody
demands
who's paid, anybody who's not been paid for a month or two understands what it means, how much my 11, but we all know what we're doing. Carry on, please.
Group demands probe of Uche Nnaji's continuous drawing of salary despite exits as minister. See, for me, who wrote these headlines? Was it you?
Mm.
Hmm. Do
Moving on.
because you put some people have not been paid for 11 months right beside someone who has exited 10 months ago and it's still being paid.
Yes,
All
guilty,
animals are equal.
but some are
Some
more.
are more equal than the others.
Yes, I'm the
Hmm.
one that put it there. Yeah, intentionally,
Mm.
so that we
Yeah,
can see what.
because in Nigeria, a number of these positions at that level are in perpetuity.
Mm-hmm.
In other words, you leave the office, you continue to receive your salary for life. I
Mm-hmm.
don't think that's what it is for ministers, but I know that's what it is for governors and some
Yeah.
other, levels of government. So, next.
Yeah. Okay, moving on to the Nation newspaper, we have former defense chief backs army expansion, urges investment in personnel logistics. Opposition cannot stop Yayi. Moving on to the daily, to the cable.
There was no election. Akimboro alleges manipulation, demands forensic audit, MBA poll.
Of the NBA poll, because you
Mhm.
remember that the what's her name, Oyinkansola Badejo Kusoya,
Badejo
yeah,
Okunsoya.
she's now the president. Well, she's going to be sworn in August, and Akimboro was also a running mate, and he says, there was no election. Yeah.
Because he's the anointed of the Ẹgbẹ́ Amòfin of Yoruba land. And it's crazy. You carry this tribal nonsense all over the place. Uh, Please,
Moving on.
I believe we're going to get to that discussion. I hope so.
Yeah.
Okay.
Obi
Okay.
Obi
Mhm.
Obasanjo meets days after Atiku's allegations against ex-president.
So, in the Daily Post, we have police arrest Oshun SSG, others over alleged vote buying. Also, on the Daily Post, we have Oshun gubernatorial. We are ready to conduct credible election, says INEC chairman Professor Amupita. Next up,
Tribune newspaper. INEC is neutral, has never intimidated anyone, says Tinubu.
Esther, what were you saying before? What were you saying before?
2027, INEC records 3.87 million new registrants.
Lastly today from the pen pushing newspaper, police detain Osun State Secretary to government, five others. Lastly, we have journalists must act as impartial conflict mediators, says President Nigerian Guild of Editors. Those are the headlines this morning. We're going to slide right into taking the um, our talking points for this morning because we want to do it hot, 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 hot. I'm trying to see which one. Maybe we should just start with
Let's
the
start with the head of
the
service.
the head of service.
Yes.
Oh God. But Nima, I really don't want to talk about this
No,
PFIPC.
but for me, this thing is, at first they were coming out to say, okay, Adeyemi did it on his own, yada, yada, yada. The chief of staff knows nothing about it. He should have gone through the SSG. Accounts were opened with what's the name of it? Like, with the central bank. I don't know
Oh,
why I just forgot.
yeah,
With the
yeah.
central bank, yada, yada, yada. A whole lot of beautiful things. Now the head
Mm-hmm.
of service has come out to admit mistake because the House of Rep uncovered, or should I say discovered, or whatever they covered irregularities. See, this thing boggles the mind.
That's
Before
why I don't want to talk about
we
but
were
but
asking,
but Nima, you know that we talked about this woman came out 2 weeks ago to say the same thing. We were don't see all this thing that is happening. It's like movie. You already know where they're getting to.
see, Nollywood
He
needs
said it
to take
last
a
week.
hint.
She
You
said
know,
it last week. She said that she actually did say it's just that now she's now officially saying it. Last week she said, "Oh, the he didn't check the paper that he didn't check this thing. They didn't check. Now she's just making it official. They all know what they are doing. I'm really not interested in. Is when the Phantom Agency comes out with something that we've not discussed that I want. I've been saying it from the beginning. I don't talk about this thing
Yes.
because it's just like the more you think about it, the more you ask yourself, wait, am I dumb? Like, is it I don't have sense? Because you can literally see the handwriting on the wall, and then you're making it seem like, oh no. But yeah, they're pulling wool over our eyes,
New,
and we're
you know,
allowing
that
them.
new development of the woman coming out to say officially, "Hey, they made a mistake." You know, their stand before was that nobody made any mistake,
Oh
nothing
no, she
happened.
did say it.
Identity bypassed everybody.
She
No,
said it last
besides
week.
her, you know, the chief
No,
of staff, Bajabi
yeah,
Amila, right?
yeah,
He
yeah,
has been saying his stand is that Adeyemi just wants to malign his
yeah.
reputation and things like that.
Mm-hmm.
This is the
Mm-hmm.
only person I have seen, correct me if I'm wrong, who has come out to say, okay, yes, we have something to do with this thing. I made
Yeah.
a mistake. The word for me, mistake. Do you know that thing can be a conditional word?
So the question is that was this mistake? Now that she has admitted it, what's going to happen?
Then are we meant to believe that, okay, yes, you made a mistake, you didn't follow due processes? Because what they are trying to do now is, yeah, we made a mistake, doesn't mean anybody has a hand in it. It's still a DME scandal, but I made a mistake. I'm not
Look,
unintelligent.
let's get past this. Let's get past this discussion.
So I'm
All
letting Nima
everything you
speak
are
because
seeing now.
Nima has been,
Hold
I'm
on.
letting because Nima has been like, she's not been saying anything. So I'm allowing her, she's just getting to her. Oh my God, I can't believe
Oh
it. So I'm
well,
allowing
Nima has a duty, to the audience. Okay, if it's a
Yeah,
news item, there's nothing wrong in trashing it. But you see,
yeah,
this is all damage control, as far as
yeah,
I'm concerned. Because look, there's
absolutely.
there's been such an exposure that has embarrassed. If they still have some degree of shame, supposedly you embarrass
But we
the
have a
government.
call. Sorry to cut you
Okay,
short.
go
Good
ahead.
morning, Evangelist Dixon.
Hello, good morning, Nima. I've been listening to you and I quite agree with you on the last
Can you
comment.
hear you?
Let me
Yeah, we
thank
can.
God this morning, because not everyone has the opportunity this morning. Let me say, Alhamdulillah, and I say Assalamu alaikum to everybody there. I've been listening to all what you've been saying, and Madam Simbo, I agree with you on corruption. Tell me, who among us that is not corrupt in this country? Only very few. Those that have
I'm not corrupt.
their thank you. Yes, thank you for the question. I say only few. I don't use the word all.
Mm-hmm.
Majority of even some of us that are pointed here on this, and that's our major problem in this country. Our major. I may say to you, come away and learn to do what is right, and it should start from each and every one of us. There is something in this life. Every time I see people, when brother that you go with anything, you need to have the power of God and do the right thing. On INEC appointed by Tinubu, yeah, it has been like that. It does not start unless if they will change it. So the opposition should let's have issue-based campaign. It has been like that from the beginning. You try to change it as time goes on. But we must have issue-based campaign. What is this man doing wrong? You that is coming in, what are you going to do? Because we've been clamoring for change of government from when this democracy started. So let's come up with issue-based. And journalists do investigative journalism. So we will see the final thing. Don't do maintenance of road. Is as how wicked you are to one. This thing can be done at the midnight. But you see, I have to rightly say, Madam Sumbo, what you say is right. I don't think that this Lagos State government, this present Lagos State have done enough to me. So this is my own submission. I don't think I've done enough. I'm a Fashola Fola, even my body. And it's a Fashola that dragged me to politics because of my performance. We should let you do what is right. So on this special commander, in short, they should capital punishment and watching. The people that have killed our children, killed our parents, we now want to give them death sentence. We think something is missing somewhere. Like capital punishment, so other people will learn from me. That's what I'm telling you. On borrowing, yes, it's good to borrow sometimes, but they should hold the government account on what they use the money they borrow for. I don't see it. Many of us are saying that this one, to me, I can say he's trying. If Trump can, comment, because the can say we should be patient. Maybe there's something that's we are not seeing. No, I think, like a man always said, he said the area they've done well with it. Like, look at this, how terrorists are being quickly. You see how they are not being. Most of them are surrendered. If you check this, some of them are because of the way they handle it. And why is this bandit somehow in north and somehow in the side? Because the northern elders and northern people, they are supporting, many of them are supporting these people. In the south, it cannot happen. We've been, they say it's their brothers. And they say they cooperate with the security. As security men, it's not easy. You know how many people we are losing? Not to cooperate. See, they want this thing to stop with them and them. Nigeria will be great. I enjoyed this country. I still enjoy this country beside that. You should learn to do that. God bless you. God bless you. Thank you all.
Thank you so much.
Just a quick one.
Okay,
A quick one. What Evangelist said. I mean, he said so many things. I don't want to interrogate too many of them. But what he said now, before he dropped, is the fact that this cannot happen in the South. I don't understand what he means by that because it's already happening.
We have another call.
Good morning.
Good morning, Francis.
Good morning. Good morning. God bless you all. There is a question I wanted to put forth before Nigerians, but I remember the word of God that says Nigeria perish for lack of knowledge. That is, my people perish for lack of knowledge. The whole women radio, you have known me by now that I'm an illiterate, but I want a symbol to manage my speaking English and using. I supposed to ask where are all our professors in various fields. But when I remember this word of God, that my people perish for lack of knowledge, I remember that academic knowledge is not as of that of biblical knowledge or wise God's knowledge. I am asking all this that is happening in Nigeria, where our professors in various fields, some is professor in law or at law, professors in every field of the world. We have it in Nigeria. But see all these illiterates ruling us. See the way they are taking us at school, food. I cry for Nigeria. I cry for Nigeria. But all I know is that God, who sees the secret, is seeing everything. Look at the way they are delivering us about this quantum agency. See what they are saying. See what this woman is saying. That the way I saw that man, that day you meet, is a mugu. That he has no idea of doing this thing alone. Nobody will tell me Adeyemi is the one that formed this to get accommodation second floor in Nigerian heart. No. Bajami Amila, they call him. He should come and tell us. See how they are holding the man in police station. Release him to the appropriate authority. The police say they don't release him because they keep him there to tell him all he will say so that it will not affect them. I don't need wasting my credit. Bye bye.
Okay, so Sumba, I'm so sorry I cut you short when you were responding to Evangelist Dixon. I've been trying to translate it in my mind. I don't know the English word because we're Japo.
No problem. They were jamming.
Thank you.
What I just wanted to say, you said, kidnapping and all of the things that are happening is not, it can't happen in the southwest. And I'm like, I don't know where that's coming from because it's already happening here. Nowhere is safe in Nigeria. So let's not make this a regional thing. Yes, I do agree with him. The fact that northern elders, northern elites, should be doing more. Okay, when you look at their disposition, it gives a feeling that they are complicit and that they like to keep it so. But whatever we say, government has a duty, to do the needful. So I'm going to move away from that and come back to the issue we were discussing, which is this phantom agency.
Mm-hmm.
Francis mentioned something that the way you look at Adeyemi, and I also am of that line of thought that it doesn't look like an intelligent person at all
Mm-hmm.
to have been able to, to do all of that trash. And we all know, Nigerians know that, look, this guy is just being used as a scapegoat.
Of course.
He's just a pawn. Somebody somewhere high up got him, to play that role. And when they are done, they are pushing him under the bus. Okay, but let's come to the news item of this morning about the head of the civil service, coming to say, okay, we didn't follow due diligence and all of that. I don't have a problem with that. But the question is, what consequences are waiting for that
Yep.
agency? What
100%.
consequences are waiting for the people who made, on whose desk the errors came from? Now, I was reading that news item, and when they tried to narrow it down to one person who was supposed, who delivered the letter, who was supposed to have delivered the letter to the permanent sex office or something like that. And that news item says that when the guy was about to explain or to have his own, to speak concerning it, he was shut down. Why would you shut him down?
Mm-hmm.
Because if the HOS can come out to say, oh, there were lapses on our side and all of that, and we're not, and we're allowing her to say that, the person that they are pointing at should also have the equal rights to say, okay, that lapse was from me, but this and this and this were the reasons why. Because you never know. Do you understand what I'm saying? You never know. I've worked in the civil service and I know the intrigues that play out there. Right now, the top officials are going to be looking for the junior officers that they want to, to sacrifice for this thing. But all of that, for me, is not even the issue. The major issue is, okay, now there are lapses. Now you didn't follow due diligence. I don't care what the reasons are. The thing is, you are culpable. What sanctions are waiting for that office and for all those officers? In other crimes, you would have been seeing resignation upon resignation upon resignation. Nigeria know they happen like that because it's all permanent seats for them. Like you having a permanent seat at the UN, they have a permanent seat in Nigeria once you get to some level. So these are the issues. But honestly, the whole thing is a nuisance. And one of the things that I also want to highlight is to give kudos to the House of Representatives who took it upon themselves to say, look, we're going to carry out an independent investigation. Now, somebody moved in motion in the Senate to do that. It was shut down. Why? Why? Because the Senate itself is also being indicted. This
Yeah.
budget line and all of that and all of that. They shut it down. And they came under some stupid law to say that, oh, the matter is in court. If the
Mm-hmm.
matter is in court, they
Mm-hmm.
cannot, speak on it. But that's lying through their teeth, because there have been so many matters, all right, that have been in court, and the Senate has sat down on it. Nobody is saying that you want to take the position of the courts, but you have the authority, to do your own in-house investigation because you are involved. So why are they shying away from doing it? So look, this thing. Since we are quoting scriptures this morning, there's one that says, higher official, works with higher official, and not. It's a collusion of so
Mm-hmm.
many, and there's so many agencies of government. I mean, so many units and departments of government that are involved in this thing. You are tracing from the civil service, you are tracing to the central bank, you are tracing to the Senate, and all of that. As they say, it's complicated. So we know Nigerians have already passed judgment. You know how we do it in this country. We know what went down. My own is that how much of our money has gone, where it shouldn't go. How much of it can we recover? Do you get what I'm talking about? And then the guy, I don't care how far the guy has been, whatever, a fraud, a con man, a whatever. Let the court try him. Let the courts try him and let them do due diligence in doing that. Don't hold him, for more than how many hours and all of. Do you understand? If it's a bailable offense, let grant him bail. Let him. Don't go and do some extrajudicial things because the guy is just a nobody.
It is well. The time is 11 minutes after 8. You're switching to Women Radio 91.7 FM, the voice of women. Nigeria's first and only radio station dedicated to the women and their families. And this is the Daily News Review, and you've been listening to the voice of our analyst, Sumbo Oladipo, on the PFICP scandal and all that concerns it. We have another call. Good morning.
Good morning, Ambrose.
My name is, how did you know my name? God bless
It's
you.
the world of tech.
My name is Ambrose, Pastor Ambrose. I will thank God for another day. You see this issue. I agree to analyst. You see this issue. How can one man be responsible for an organized and authority crime like this one? How is it possible? How is it possible? This is what we call might is right. I'm highly disappointed, but I'm not surprised because we know the antecedents of this government. I mean, this crime, one man alone committed a crime, wrote a fake letter, went to everywhere. Do you know that the CBN, if you take a forged letter there, they will detect it? He opened an account and things have been going well until somebody came and told us that, that agency is fake. I don't agree. That agency is not fake. That man is just a scapegoat. This is what we get. Nigerian democracy is to the highest bidder. Nigerian democracy is defined by the people who are in power. It is not the government of the people, by the people, and for the people. And unfortunately, this man alone is going to bear the consequences. Like they said, let them follow due process. We are in for it, and unfortunately, I don't know. I don't know. Maybe I can talk about even what happened in Oshun, where the SSG was arrested. I don't know whether that issue has been discussed.
You can go ahead. You can talk about it.
The SSG has been arrested in Oshun State because it does not belong to the ruling party. Whereas we know the antecedent of other political parties. We know what they do, and we know how they act. Now, they have told us now that he has been arrested. You will see what will happen during the election. You see, we are not in a democracy. God bless you.
The way he ended, it sounded like, look, I cannot even continue anymore. I'm tired. The phone lines are still open 07000917917 or 800-123-5917 or 0703, beg your pardon, 09155917917. To send your text messages, your WhatsApp messages, or your voice notes, the numbers to text are 0703-1756-537 or 08155-917-917. I think we still have a bit of time to talk about this MBA. Izzy brouhaha. Simbo had already said something about it when we're going through the headlines. So Olumiwa Akimboro, the senior advocate of Nigeria and candidate in the just concluded NBA presidential election, has petitioned the association's leadership saying that Anki Panky was going on in that election. He wrote a 19-page petition or more, and I'm sure it was full of plenty English, and addressed it to the body of benchers, Attorney General of the Federation, General Counsel of the Bar, the NBA President, the Electoral Committee of the NBA, the EFCC, and the DSS, calling for urgent intervention and redress. We did we really talk about this last week? We touched on it last week. He also says, or he claims that the NBA leadership openly backed Oyinkansola Badejo Okunsoya. And the current president, I recall last week, I think, what's his name, Osibe, or something, had said, no, that was not the case at all. But this accusation is not even the first. We've been seeing it, in the news that there was that the association is supporting her, and then they also claimed that okay, the manner in which they were voting, it was somehow some people could not vote, some people could vote, but then at the same time, some other people had come out to say, I was able to vote easily. I didn't have an issue. I was able to vote. Some of them had even said maybe the INEC concept should come and learn from how this voting had had was organized and concluded. Sha sha sha. This is his grounds against the NBA in general. So yeah, there are of course numbers decided that 26,184 votes were cast out of 82,172 eligible voters, and that together with the number of the lawyers allegedly unable to vote because they did not receive their OTPs. First of all, you have to realize that just because there are 82,000 eligible voters doesn't mean that all of them will vote. We see this in elections every now and again. So that one, but yeah, Sumba, what are your thoughts on this?
Well, quite a couple of things to tease out from from those allegations. First and foremost, is the fact that the moment you have electronic voting or anything to do with this digital system in Nigeria, you will be rest assured that there will be glitches. It cannot be 100%. One over. We see it with JAM, we see it with WAEC, we see it with so many things. Even with private institutions. Okay, we see it. Why? Because a number of the things that are the components that should go into digital, systems of voting and all of that are not very much available in Nigeria. You talk about energy, you talk about network, you talk about, so you can't expect 100% performance. So first and foremost, we need to clear that. Number two for me is they also spoke about the system of voting. This one, before they went into voting, were there guidelines of what, how the voting should take place, and did they all sign to it? Because that's another thing. Everyone who was a party, who was a candidate, did they go through, oh, this is how these elections will be conducted and all of that, and then they sign for it, because you cannot be shifting the goalposts. You know, when the competition is already begun. You cannot now come and criticize, the procedure that was employed. If you signed to it and agreed to it, that's another thing that I see. Number three is the fact that it's actually, shameful that lawyers, I mean, these are the ones supposed to be, custodians of the law, custodians of, a good practice and all of that. If they come out to begin to disgrace themselves like this, then I wonder what hope is left. I mean, after all, they are the learned people. We are not learned. So for me, it's not something that should even be happening in the first place. And unfortunately, I've seen this happen with the bar. I mean, with the bar, what do you call it, the NBA elections. This is not the first time we're going to have this kind of allegations and, flaws and all of that. So I think they need to put their house in order. That's also important. Now, this issue of, oh, the leadership backed up Badejo Kusoya. Question: is there any evidence to that?
Mm-hmm.
You know, now let's tell ourselves some truths here. There is no way that the leadership, whoever they are, will not have a preferred candidate individually. Okay? And it's their right. I don't know, maybe they are also allowed to vote. Okay, but definitely the question is, was that openly displayed? And if if it was openly displayed, what are the things that leadership did that would be considered as something helping one candidate against the others? That will be a problem if they can trace anything like that. But if this gentleman does not have any evidence, concrete evidence that any of those things were done, then he's just making noise for nothing. Okay? And then another thing is, I looked at it, I found out that, oh, he's not even the first runner up. He didn't. There are three of them. He came last. He had just about 5,000 or something votes
Yeah.
against somebody. Do you understand? And then I'm now reading something about Egbe Omo Yoruba lawyers or whatever, saying that he was the consensus candidate. And my question is, Lati Bosibo, from where to where? All this nonsense about consensus candidates. If I were a lawyer, you can't choose a consensus candidate for me. I have a right to vote. I will exercise that right. So for me,
Maybe
that shouldn't even come into this conversation at all. Okay, but be that as it may, irrespective of everything I've said, if somebody is coming with an allegation, I think that it behoves the leadership of the legal position profession in Nigeria. I don't know who has the oversight function, to sit back and examine every one of those allegations, and address them so that, this woman who has been elected will not be seen as, coming in fraudulently. I think it's very important, for that to be done. Otherwise, I personally would not like to be in the situation where I come in and I'm carrying that weight of, oh, it was a fraudulent election and all of that. And she has said that if she finds out that any of these allegations are true, she would resign. She would
step
abandon
down.
the, you know. So for me, that's fair enough. Let all the other units, of the legal profession who have the oversight function, look at these allegations so that fair is fair. But finally, I want to also say, I hope this is not a question of patriarchy and this male, chauvinism thing. A woman being the first person, she's the second person to be, the coming in
President,
as a
but the first
president,
woman
but the
elected.
first one that was duly elected.
Yeah.
Okay, so it was not. She wasn't appointed. She was elected. So as far as I'm concerned, I'm a woman. This is woman radio. Let them get their act together and let the woman breathe. You do understand?
Well
Yeah, we.
supported her. Yes, I well said, Sumbo, because you that was the first thing that hit me. Because when I checked, as women, as human beings, we tend to be biased in certain things. So what I did first was to check any hanky panky going on. Okay, no, she's a woman. Her win is my win. That's all. And when you check her resume, her history. She went back to school 10 years after. I think she was a confectioner. That's a baker, yes, sweet things.
Mhm.
And then she went back to school. I don't think when she was going back to school, I would like to ask her, Ma, did you see this, or did you put it on your vision board that when you're going back to school to go and study law, you would most likely become the first elected female president of the NBA? Odds are, I don't think so. I don't think she probably thought that because, like you said, it's a male dominated, I almost said industry, well, yeah, industry is a male dominated place, and women, generally in Nigeria, women don't really get a leg up. Right. So when we see one woman who's done well or who's doing well legally and there's no hanky panky going on, we will celebrate her. I think this is just maybe wanting to throw dust on this, but I'm very, very unmoved by it. So yeah. But Nima, I think you have messages with you.
Yes. Good morning, ladies. This is from Mrs. Oboli.
We cannot hear.
She's not reading yet. I can't see her lips
No, no, no.
moving.
She's hearing a voice.
Note.
No, 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 we can't.
Oh well. I don't know what's happening.
Okay, read the other messages. Send the voice note to me. Let me see if I can play from here. But read other messages.
I,
Are there other messages?
you know what? Just carry on.
Okay, we're having issues at the office near.
Yes.
Okay, on that note, we've come to the end of the daily news review program this morning. The one of the laptops, I mean the computers at the office is having issues, so we're unable to read some of the messages or even play the voice notes. But thank you so much, every single person who sent in a voice note or sent in a message, and to our callers this morning, and especially to our analysts this morning. Sumbo, the what was the name that Evangelist Shegun called you? I can't remember now. But
Don't
thank
Hey,
worry.
you.
I have different
Lioness
names
on
on
air.
different stations.
What did you say, Nima?
He called her a lioness on air.
Lioness on.
Ah,
So I saw
okay,
that
I'll add
this
that to that.
morning.
I would add that to my resume.
Yes, please. Yes, because they say this page, you cannot intimidate us. You cannot not see, not see, not see. Thank you so much for coming on the program. See
It's
you same
always a
time.
pleasure. And you guys, you ladies, have a wonderful weekend.
You too. You too. Up next is the news at 9. What do we have at 9:05, Nima?
Balance.
All right. See you then.